Ruel here for Rock Extreme. Today we're going to go over the May 16 card for Rock Extreme. That was in Harper Heights, Texas. And I have a guest today, a friend of mine. I coach him on the MMA level, on the stand-up, and a good friend, really good friend of mine, Brandon. Brandon, tell him a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, guys, my name is Brandon Jimenez. I'm a 125, 135-pound fighter. I actually am looking to go pro soon. My first fight might be for Rock Extreme on July 18th in Round Rock, Texas. One of the fighters I'm fighting is actually on this card, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But I'm really excited to share these fights with you guys.
Right now we're going to do a recap of all the fights that happened on May 16th. I'm going to do a little recap. It was a great night, man. I think it was one of the best cards so far that Rock Extreme's through so far. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, it was a great fight. I mean, like we were talking about before, there was a lot of knockouts, there was a couple submissions. I mean, I don't really think there was any boring fights. I think the fans enjoyed every single fight that was out there.
So let's talk about the first fight, okay? The first fight was with Casper and Eric.
Yeah, definitely. I was excited to see this fight. I've actually watched Casper train a little bit. I know a little bit about him, and he definitely didn't disappoint. He came out and he played his own game. It was a little bit slow, but that's what he wanted to do. Eric came out rushing him, and he didn't want to play into his game. Technically, he was a better fighter. There was a lot of really cool moves he threw in there. There was a cartwheel kick. I thought I saw a spinning back kick at one point. I mean, there was a lot of really cool stuff that he threw to kind of showcase his talents.
But he definitely was impressive in his win. I think Eric was one of those guys that just need to work a little more and get his stuff together. But anybody that gets in that cage, definitely I give him props. So he does have a lot of potential.
I think it kind of shows him what goes into being a fighter. I think he didn't know, even though it's an amateur title, that you go in there as an amateur, he doesn't know there's a lot of work going behind that. And I think as far as from his perspective, he sees it and goes in there and knows now that what he has to train to actually step in the ring and be successful.
Absolutely agree with that. Okay. So now we just went over the first fight. Let's go over the second fight.
The second fight was Don Castro versus Nick Collins, and Don Castro is actually from our gym.
Right, and I actually did work that corner.
Yeah.
Okay. Don was preparing for the fight, leading up to the fight. He's in the Army, and it was tough for him to train and get the training, and he did need, but he definitely pulled it off, and he pulled an impressive finish. What was your opinion on that?
I was excited for that fight. I know Don, he loves to take it to the ground, but he wanted to stand up a little bit and show that he can keep his own standing up. And he did a lot better than a lot of people expected him to do on the feet. I mean, he held his own, and once it got to the ground, I mean, we knew it was his world, and he was going submission after submission after submission until finally he got that dominant position and got that TKO.
Yeah, pulled it off, and props to him, man. To him and his family, his full family was out there supporting him, and a bunch of the guys from the Army, which the Army stays strong. That's one thing. Also that night, the David Wayne, I ran into Hector, and Hector had a little bit to say about all the upcoming events, and I'm going to let you guys go to this real quick and check it out, some of the stuff he had to say about new fighters that want to fight, amateur and pro. So check this out.
Hey guys, we're over here with the event coordinator himself, the man that put us all together, Hector Ruel. Hector, tell us a little bit about the event and the plan of having, future events.
The events weekend that we're having is Rock's Extreme Fight Night number 14. This is our 14th show. We're hoping to have some more. We have one in Round Rock, Texas, on July 18th for professionals and amateurs. They enjoy it so much because we are the only promotion really breaking any amateur and pro fighting in Central Texas. Nobody else brings them in like Rock. Rock's nutrition, like you see here in the back, he's actually the man in down South Texas. He's coming up on 35, open nutrition stores all over, and he got into the fight promotion because he wants to help these young fighters out.
Well, that's something that I was really impressed with. That event is not only are you pushing the professionals, but you're also giving the amateurs some light. Is like you said, you have more events coming up. Do you plan on having them, like you said, some just professional, or more? You're gonna have more like this where it's amateur and professional, or are you just gonna kind of mix it up as you go along?
I'm probably gonna mix them all as I go along with amateur and professional. To have so that way the people can see an amateur fight and they can watch a pro fight and see the big difference there is in them and these young men, the way they go into battle and how much more.
As far as MMA MMA in Texas, and where do you see it going? And another question is, if fighters are interested in getting an amateur card or some pro fighters out there, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is just look us up online. We're always online, XTREMEmartialarts.com or XTREMEmartialartsacademy.com or Illuminate Gym, or they can actually call Rox, Rox supplement store, and he'll be able to hook you up with myself or Robert Tapia. You can call us anytime. You can text us. You can call us. You can hit us up online. Any way you want to, we'll go ahead and get you on the call. We'll talk about you, see what your skill level is. So we want to match your fights as close as we can. We don't want no lopsided matches. So we'll try to match them the best we can. And we even have one where we have a find the fighter, where your fighter finds his fighter he wants, and they negotiate it, and then they come to me and they negotiate the money with myself, and we try to make that fight happen.
I definitely 100% agree with that. Hector, thank you very much for spending some time and talking to us, and we appreciate everything that you're doing for the sport. Thank you.
Ran into our local boy, Lavelle Simpson. We both friends of Lavelle's, and he had a little bit to say. He wasn't in this card. He might not be in the July card, but he's looking to be on the September card. So there's a little bit he had to say. So check this out.
Hey guys, we're here with the local boy himself, Lavelle Simpson. Lavelle, tell us a little bit what's going on and what you got going on right now.
What's going on? I kind of messed up my hand in the last fight. I had a fracture, bruised lungs, bruised ribs. So right now I'm just, I was healing up, just getting back into training.
Yeah, because as far as the fight game goes, where do you see yourself in the near future? Being one of the local boys. I know right now you're like one of the top guys out here. So where do you see yourself in the future as far as MMA? And I know that you're part of the Rock Extreme, and you got other things going on. You just want to give us a little insight?
I see myself back on the national stage, back on TV.
Okay, leading into the third fight.
So this is actually one of our fighters as well, Manny Rodriguez. We were really excited for that fight. We actually have been with him for almost all of his fights, and we went through his training camp, and we were with him all the time. We know he wanted that knockout. He's great on the ground, but he's an exciting fighter. He knows what the fans like to see, and he wanted to stand up and bang and get that knockout, and that's exactly what he got. I mean, if you guys watch his pre-fight interview, you can see he was calling it. He called it first round knockout, and he has the power, he has the speed, and he delivered. What did you think, Ruel?
She filmed the pre-fight video for him for his walkout, and he was talking about knocking the guy out, and man, everybody was like, man, we hope he knocks this guy out, because talking all that crap, but he did pull it off, man of his word right there. In fact, we'll show that clip right now, what he said.
He comes, come on, Manny, yeah, tell me what you're gonna do, Manny, tell me what you're gonna do. Hey, right in front of the camera, man, right in front of the camera, tell me what you're gonna do to this guy.
Alright, man, I train extra hard, extra fucking hard, and I'm just, man, take the dub, knock him out, first round, it's a done deal. I'm from Haker Heights. I'm here representing Twin Wolves MMA. I'm coming in to take the dub. Gonna get this knockout the first round. That's it.
Yeah,
knock this dude out, man.
What you gonna do?
Knock him out.
What you gonna do?
Knock him out.
Put him to sleep.
Dormido.
And no disrespect to Enrique Montoya. He was a great fighter. I mean, he actually had the height and the reach on Manny. And so we actually, at one point, thought it would be a little bit difficult for Manny to get inside and get that knockout, because a lot of times the taller fighters like to keep the distance. But Manny did a great job of getting in, and like you guys just saw, he got that knockout.
Yeah, and it was a very impressive knockout.
That was Miguel Guerrero versus Matt McKeon.
Called him in for like maybe a week before the. Matter of fact, I think it was like 3 days before the fight.
Yeah, I know, and he's a great fighter. He fought on the last card. He's actually in the Army as well. He's one of our active duty soldiers that fought on the card, and he's a really good guy. You hear about the trash talk that they were going back and forth with?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, apparently Miguel, he was really upset because McKean was talking a lot of trash, and I actually didn't hear too much of it, but I heard the backlash of it. And basically, I mean, they went in there, they duked it out, and there was nothing but respect afterwards. I mean, it was really, really good fight.
Yeah, because Matt usually fights at 185, is that correct?
Yeah.
Or something, but got to give him props, man. Props out to you, Matt, for going in there and stepping up and, being part of the card. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I got to say, Rami, is that right? Rami? Okay.
I apologize if I pronounced your name.
Yes, no disrespect. Actually, the day of the interview, I had a problem pronouncing his name, too, the weigh-in. He's from Jackson MMA, and great fighter. He pulled off the submission. We had Kobe. Kobe, we're very familiar with Kobe. He's one of those guys that will go in there and he will knock you out if you're not. You just got to blink, turn the wrong way. He will catch you. So definitely Kobe went in there with his game plan to knock him out, but instead he went for the takedown, and that was pretty much the end of the fight after that.
Yeah, I agree. I think I speak for a lot of the people who actually trained with Kobe, and I think it was a little bit of a mistake for the takedown. We knew that he had the advantage on the feet, or at least that's where he would have the greatest advantage, whereas on the ground he probably wouldn't do so well. I don't know if he got rocked and he kind of went down for it that way. He didn't want to stand up, but we all felt he would be most successful on the feet. And, in the heat of the moment, I can speak from experience, you kind of go back to, you're not really thinking all the way through. You go back to your instinct. Maybe his instinct was to take him down, and he kind of paid for it at the end. But no, mad props to Kobe. He's a great fighter.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
This is a fight I'm really excited with. It was Washington Lewis versus Jake Norsworthy.
Oh my God, we're gonna play real quick the weigh-in and what happened in the weigh-in. Yeah, so that was pretty intense. I mean, I think this was Washington's first MMA fight. I mean, he's part of Team GFT, which is one of the biggest teams in the world with BJJ and especially in Brazil. So you coming from a strong camp like that, and then you stepping into the MMA world now, where it's a different game, but at the same time, you take somebody like him take you to the ground, you got to be ready.
Yeah, and it was definitely a very emotional fight. You saw typically the Brazilians, they have a lot of passion from Brazil. They get really into it. You definitely saw that with Washington Lewis. I mean, he put his heart and soul into what he does, and you can definitely see how it reflected at the weigh-ins. Now, whenever they came out, we expected it to be a little bit more like that. They were going right at each other, but it wasn't. It was a little bit slower start. Washington Lewis went in for some crazy takedowns at first and was unsuccessful. I mean, really far away. And at one point, he went in for a crazy takedown, and Jacob Nordstrom actually caught him, or Norsworthy rather, I apologize. It was unsuccessful. I mean, they were really far away. It wasn't, I don't know if it was part of his game plan or not, but it wasn't successful. And then at one of the takedowns, Norsworthy actually caught him with a knee as he was coming in. But he stuck with the takedown, got him down to the ground, and again, that was his world. He finished it relatively quickly. I think the fight may have lasted about 30 seconds, but it was a really good fight, and it kind of showcased what Washington can do even when he's outside of his game.
In the MMA, it's not like just the BJJ competitions. You actually got somebody trying to elbow, knee, punch, basically everything at you. You're not just coming in and worrying about just getting the takedown. You actually got to try to avoid getting hit in the way in. Real quick, there was another Brazilian fighter that was supposed to be in the card. His name is Rafael. The fighter he was supposed to fight had got hurt. He was also from Jackson's MMA. He got hurt the week before the fight. So we're going to break off to Rafael real quick so you can get a little insight in that.
I'm here with Rafael. Tonight he was supposed to be one of the main fights going on tonight. His opponent, something happened. We just want to clarify and let everybody know what's going on exactly. He came all the way from Brazil. It's really sad. He's a great striker. The Brazilian GFT practitioner. Okay, so can you tell us what happened to his fighter, the person that he was supposed to fight?
Perguntando para você o que aconteceu e o que aconteceu com o seu oponente, qual é a sua frustração com essa luta que você está lutando a mão.
No caso, a lesão, não tem como a gente prevenir a lesão. O nosso esporte é um esporte que a gente está um dia antes da pesagem fazer um treinamento desse. de fazer entrada de queda e bater com o rosto no joelho. Vim num período de treinamento forte, perdi 30 pounds aqui nos Estados Unidos, já vim perdendo, mas acontece.
You're saying that you can't prevent injuries. Injuries in our sport happen, but it's irresponsibility of his opponent to be training the way that he was one day before weigh-ins and getting hurt and injured and not being able to fight. So it's really sad because he was training really hard, lost 30 pounds only here in the United States, was already losing weight on Brazil. He goes to 170 to 125, so it's a lot of weight cut, a lot of hard work for nothing.
Well, I do have to agree on the part of the coaches that, if it's close to the fight, like the week before, you shouldn't be taking it easy. You shouldn't be sparring, or, there shouldn't be, all injuries should not, that you take all precautions not to have injuries. Well, one thing I got to say is I'm really disappointed. I was looking forward to seeing him fight, and hopefully in the near future we will see Rafael back. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So now the next thing about this, the fight we're talking about, since we're in that topic, okay? So we talked about Washington, we talked about Rafael. Now the guy that Washington fought, which is Jacob Norworthy, real nice guy. He was there with his wife. They're having a baby. Congratulations. The thing I want to mention is, for your first fight, probably your first pro fight, you might be fighting him. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm really excited. From what I saw, his stand-up is pretty good. He really likes to stand up. And on the ground, in some of his other fights, he did decent. I mean, definitely against someone who's straight BJJ, you're not going to do as well. But as far as the matchup, I think it matches up really well for my first pro fight, and it's still in the works. I don't know exactly if it's going to happen, but if it does, it will be on the 14th of July, or 18th of July.
Yeah, I think it's the 18th.
18th of July in Round Rock, and I'm really excited about that fight.
Yeah, it'll be the next Rocks Extreme. It'll be definitely in that card. We're pushing for that. We're talking to the matchmaker right now, Hector Ruiz, and we're definitely trying to make this happen. And I think it will. But it's MMA. You never know what can happen. But it will be a great fight. I guarantee you guys that it's going to be a war.
Alright, so the next fight was Steven Cervantes versus Matt Mazurek, and that was actually one of the best fights of the night that we saw. I mean, it was action-packed. It was everywhere. On the ground, there was a lot of wrestling, a lot of stand-up, and it went the distance. And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it was an all-out war. I mean, what was your opinion of the fight?
I did see Matt coming out of the ring, or the cage, I should say, with his, I think his knee was messed up. So, basically, what you said, it was a war. It was a fight.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys put their heart into it. And, injuries like that, they always come from wars like that. I mean, you don't feel it. When your adrenaline's going like crazy, you're fighting like crazy, it's not until after you walk out of the cage that you start feeling your injuries. And you could definitely tell someone was messed up with either his leg or his knee or something, because he almost had to be carried out. I mean, that guy gave it his all. So mad respect to both of those fighters.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Alright, guys, so this next one is probably the most exciting, if not, top 3 most exciting fights of the night. It was Peter Standinick versus Randy Sanchez, and we were really excited. Really exciting fight. I believe Randy Sanchez took that fight last minute. And Peter's actually from Harker Heights area. It was a really exciting fight. Tell us what you thought about it, Ruel.
Well, I gotta give myself a little tap in the shoulder. I did call the head kick knockout.
Tell me a little bit about yourself real quick. I was actually in the corner working the guy you actually fought the last fight. I gotta say, you guys just watch out for that left kick, man. That left kick was coming straight to the head. That was something I was really worried about in the last fight. But don't blink. I'm telling you, watch out for that left kick to the head, baby. All right, thank you, bro.
Okay, so you guys saw that I did call a knockout. Wow, it was. I know Pete got that left leg, man. We had a fight the last card that actually went against Pete. And we worked hard to defend that against that head kick, and it was impressive, man. When he hit him, I think the crowd just went crazy. Definitely knockout of the night by far.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really, really good knockout. I mean, he set it up perfectly with the low kicks. Kept going low kicks, low kicks, low kicks. Then he faked a low kick. His hand went down. Boom, perfect head kick. Snapped his head around him. Yeah. He was out. He twitched a few times, and then he was out for like 5 minutes. I mean, he was out for a long time. It was a great fight. That guy was a warrior. He had almost 30 fights, right?
Yeah, right.
He had a ton of fights, except to the last minute. I mean, it was an awesome fight all around.
Yeah, and he hasn't fought in. I spoke to him in an interview. He hasn't fought in 8 years. And he came back and, he represented and definitely went in there and did what he can. I think he should have kept the pressure a little more on Pete and not give him so much space. But, it's too late now. But he definitely represented.
All right, guys, so the next fight was Marcus Dupar versus Tato Benacourt. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly.
Tattoo.
That was Tato, is how you pronounced it?
Well, when I interviewed him, I was like, is it, I don't know, like, it was real. Actually, Tattoo is not even his real name. Like, that was his nickname.
Really?
Yeah, that was his nickname. His real name, I can't remember right now. I have it in an interview, but I actually asked him in an interview about it. All
right, we're here with Tattoo. Now, I got a question, Tattoo. Okay, I was told Tattoo. No, it's not Tattoo.
Yeah.
What's the story with that?
Okay, the first story is Tato. It's not Tattoo. Tattoo is for this.
Oh, okay.
But my nickname is Tato de Tattoo. And this is the name that one friend to death gave me for the fights, and I take it.
Yeah, it's kind of like myself, like my real name is Ricardo. Everybody calls me Ruel. So I pretty much kept that growing up. So I understand.
Yeah, so that's the name that was given to him by a friend of his that passed away. Since he was a kid, his name is Tattoo. So that was the name that was given to him. It's pronounced Tattoo, but it's not Tattoo, like he said with the skin. Is just that's the way it's pronounced. So he fought one of our local guys. One of I actually worked the corner for that, and that was a 3-round battle right there.
Yeah, I was excited to watch that one. I actually sparred with Marcus a few times, and Marcus, I mean, don't be surprised if you guys see him come up really big. I mean, he has a lot of talent. I believe he injured his toe early in the first round, and that kind of affected everything else earlier. But there was a lot of strikes I was excited for in that fight. I mean, Tattoo, he took a lot of punishment, and he kept taking it. It looks like it didn't faze him. I mean, there was my favorite part of that whole fight. He went in for a takedown. Marcus actually stuffed the takedown, and on the way up, timed a perfect knee. I mean, the best knee I've ever seen, especially of that night. I mean, it was awesome, perfectly timed, and he just ate it for breakfast.
Yeah, and he kept coming too. Props to Tattoo, and definitely props to Marcus for pulling off the W, and he stuck to the game plan. I got to give props on that.
Definitely. All right, guys. So now we're cutting to the main event: Colton Smith versus Marcus Andrusa. And my opinion. My opinion of that fight, I feel like it was a little bit lopsided, a little bit one-sided. How did you feel about that fight?
Well, there was a lot of trash talking leading up to the fight. Like when I had the interview with Marcus had mentioned, you know, and it was on Facebook. I guess there was one comment made.
Marcus, Bellator veteran. A lot of trash talking on Facebook, back and forth. I mean, it was like probably like 300 comments between you two. What do you have to say about that?
Trash talk, you know, it started out pretty friendly. You know, he was saying it was his night. I said not on the 16th. And then it wasn't so much Colton. It was more or less his friends trying to get involved in on the action. So it is what it is, man. I'm here to compete.
Smith made a comment my time, and then from there Marcus made comments, and it just kind of snowballed from there. But like after the fight, Smith was saying how he was working on a lot of new stuff and a lot of stuff like in the stand-up game that he wanted to showcase in this fight.
Hey guys, Noe B here, cage side. I'm here with Colton Smith. Colton, how are we doing, brother?
Feeling great. You know, I went out there. I thought I'd be able to stay a little more stand-up, but he stayed on the fence. And you know, you don't stay on the fence with me, I'm gonna take your ass down. Marcus Andrews, a tough Bellator vet. You know, 11-5, 11-6 record. You know, tough guy going into this. I really trained hard for this fight. I really wanted to kind of showcase more of my skill sets. I'm kind of glad I didn't have to. You know, so my next opponent's gonna be in the dark. Like, what's this new skill set Colton's talking about? Could be kung fu, could be aikido. Who knows? Who could see might be having doing some crazy Israeli Krav Maga or something. But in all seriousness, I'm just grateful.
You know, you come from a great camp. Went out there, executed the fight. Now, when you all were fighting, you did show some good stand-up. Like you said, you threw some nice kicks at him, but you stood calm. You had a good posture. You mounted him. What were you thinking? Did you think you were going to submit him quick, or?
As soon as I mounted him, I got a pretty strong base. They call them childbearing hips. And it's really hard for guys to get up from me. I mean, world champion black belts. When I hold them down, they're going to stay down on the ground. Look at Igor Adauju, UFC vet, who's in the UFC right now. When I got on top of him, he wasn't able to get back up. You know, I mean, I beat a lot of guys by getting on top of him. As soon as you let me mount him, that was fatal mistake number one.
And what I noticed is that when you were on top of him, there was a position you were able to get a rear naked choke, but you were actually trying to go for a Kimura. And I think what I saw is that you were comfortable. You could have basically done whatever you wanted.
Yeah, I could have gone for the submission. I wanted a TKO. You know, I need to rack some TKO wins to get back in the big show. I was trying for a catch wrestling, what Brock Lesnar did to Frank Mir. He went under the head and through the armpits, a catch wrestling hold, and beat the crap out of Frank Mir that way. And I was going for that, but this guy didn't really mount too much of an offense or even a counter move.
So you started working that ground and pound, and got that TKO win. Well, congratulations, great performance, and we look forward to seeing you in the cage soon, man. All right, brother, take it easy.
And he didn't get to because I guess the win comes, you're gonna take it no matter what. Any fighter would. So we were looking forward to that. You know, we heard some stuff about him working on some new stuff, and he actually mentioned it after the fight. We expected a little more of a war, and it kind of went quick. I mean, that was my opinion in it. But, but you know, it was a good fight.
As far as a recap, I mean, they stood up for a little bit. After it went to the ground, Colton Smith dominated. He was on top. I mean, it ended in the first round, and it ended up with him on top. I mean, once from experience, I haven't personally rolled with him, but a lot of people that I talk to roll with him. He's really heavy on top, really hard once he's on top of you to get him off of you. And once you got that mount, I mean, really anyone, if they mount you correctly, it's really hard to get off, but especially Colton Smith. And from there, he did that ground and pound until he eventually got that TKO.
You know, a lot of the fans were disappointed. They were disappointed in the outcome of the main event. But hey, you know, if the win is there, you're a fighter. The opportunity is there. You're gonna take it. You know, so you can't be mad at the man. You know, said he did what he's supposed to do.
And it definitely just showed what level Colton Smith is at. I mean, as you guys know, he used to fight in the UFC. And now he's fighting for Rock's Extreme. He's main eventing our cards, but you see the fighters he's getting put against. He's levels above them. I mean, the last fight was a really bloody fight. It was really awesome. It showcased his skill, but now you see he's much better than that. I mean, he fought against the Bellator vet again, and from there, I mean, he made him look like he didn't even belong in the cage. I mean, no disrespect to Marcus. From what I understand, he's a pretty good fighter, but Colton just made him look like he did not belong there, and it kind of shows the level that Colton Smith is at, and he's ready for that top-notch level again.
Yeah, and it's I guess, like sometimes it happens to every fighter. They kind of fall off the road, the path they're on, and then they just gotta. It's either you fall off completely or you build yourself back up and get back on the road. And he's on his way, man. Definitely must say that.
And it's very similar to the Anthony Rumble Johnson story. I mean, you guys all are aware of that. DC has the belt now. But he actually was kicked out of the UFC, just like Colton Smith was. He couldn't make weight, and when he got back, he went undefeated. I mean, he moved up to a bigger weight class, went all the way to a title shot. And I mean, you know what? You gotta appreciate these success stories. I mean, you gotta be taken down before you can get back up. Just like a DC himself. I mean, the same thing happened to him. And so it's another success story with Colton Smith. I mean, he was knocked down, taken out of the UFC, and this is his comeback. And it's all up to him how much heart he has and how much he wants to fight for it. And he can make it all the way back up to the top. And if you see, I mean, you saw what he just showcased. I mean, he's ready to make it back to the top. He wants to fight for it.
I know Rock Extreme is going to find him another opponent for his future events, and I know it's going to be somebody on a top-notch level. Because one thing with Rock Extreme, they're moving fast, and you know, nobody getting no way, man. We're just going straight forward with this.
No, I agree. Look out for a lot more exciting fights by Rock.
And for everybody out there, I just want to let you know, if you're interested in sponsorship for Rock's Extremes, we'll put your banner up in our events, put you in our commercials, our YouTube stuff, and Facebook and all that. So everybody out there, if you're interested in sponsoring Rock Extreme, please get with us. So all you fighters out there, you know, I want you guys to get in touch with Hector. Hector is the matchmaker for Rock's Extreme, and he'll make the fights happen. Just get in touch with him, and he will make it happen.
All right, guys, that's it for us. But we'll see you July 18th, Round Rock, Texas.
Yeah, Rock's Extreme, baby.